All right, let's talk about one of the most powerful and honestly most misunderstood parts of SAP, partner determination. It's kind of like the hidden blueprint that quietly runs your entire sales process. Get it right and things are smooth. Get it wrong and, well, things get messy. So let's dive in.
You know the feeling, right? Your sales team closes a fantastic deal, high fives all around, and then it just hits a brick wall in the system. The deal that was a sure thing just moments ago suddenly grinds to a halt. What is going on? What's the culprit here?
Well, it's usually one of these system nightmares. You see that dreaded error message, mandatory partner missing, order blocked. Or maybe it's worse, the invoice won't post to finance, the credit check doesn't even trigger on the right company, and your sales reports, they're becoming a total mess. And look, these aren't just random glitches. They're symptoms of a much deeper problem that started way earlier.
The real fix, the proactive fix, starts right here in what we call the blueprint. It's all about properly casting our business partners, defining their roles before a transaction even begins. We have to set the stage in the customer master long before a sales order ever gets created.
So the key concept here is something called a partner function. It's really just the specific role a business plays in any given deal. I mean, think about a lemonade stand. The person buying, drinking, and paying is probably all the same kid. But in the B2B world, it's way more complex. The company that buys from you is almost never the same one that receives the goods or pays the bill. Partner functions make it crystal clear who is responsible for what.
And that brings us to the big four. These are the main characters in our play. First, you've got the sold to. They're the one who negotiates and places the order. Then the ship to. That's just the physical address where the stuff goes. The billed to gets the invoice. And finally, the payer. This is the one who actually cuts the check. Getting these four defined correctly is, well, it's everything.
And that leads to this perfect metaphor. Think of your customer master as the casting call. You're not starting the play yet, not at all. You are simply deciding which actors are allowed to play which roles. This pre-selection, this casting call, is exactly what brings order to the chaos later on.
Okay, so our cast is selected. Now it's showtime. It's time for the action to begin. Let's move to the sales order and see how this blueprint comes to life, turning a static plan into a dynamic and legally binding transaction.
This slide just nails the difference. The customer master is like the menu at a restaurant. It shows you all the possible options. For instance, this customer has 5 approved warehouses we can ship to. The sales order, though, that's your specific selection for this one meal. You're picking just one of those warehouses for this single transaction. Menu versus selection, that's the key.
And here is the real payoff for all that careful setup. When you design this correctly, your user only has to enter one thing, the sold to party. That's it. The system then instantly scans that blueprint we built and boom, like magic, it fills in all the other partners automatically. This isn't just faster, it's a game changer for preventing errors before they even have a chance to happen.
But wait, what if things need to change in the order? This is a huge design decision. And best practice is pretty clear on this. You lock down the sold to and the pair. Why? Because changing the sold to can literally reset all your pricing and taxes. It's better to just start a new order. And letting people change the pair? Whoa, that opens up a massive loophole for credit fraud. The ship to, on the other hand, that needs to be flexible. Logistics teams often need to make last-minute changes. It's a balance.
So let's look at what happens next. Because the decisions you make in that sales order, they don't just stay in the sales order. They create this massive domino effect that controls everything downstream, from the guys in the warehouse all the way to the finance department.
You can think of your process as a river of data. The sales order is the source, the headwaters of that river. Now, if you put one wrong partner, just one drop of poison into that source, it flows downstream, and it contaminates the entire chain, the delivery, the shipment, the invoice, everything.
And you have to remember, those downstream documents have totally different jobs. For the logistics team, the delivery is all about moving boxes, so the ship-to partner is king. But for finance, the billing document is about collecting cash. The payer is the most important partner there. Their goals are different, so their rules have to be different. And they get more and more strict as you go.
This timeline really shows you that tightening grip. A sales order is just commercial intent. There's still some wiggle room. But the delivery, that's physical execution. Once stuff is on a truck, things get locked in pretty quick. And the billing document, that is the final, legal, financial truth.
It is rigid, it is auditable, and it is absolutely final.
So, here's the big takeaway. This requires a fundamental shift in our mindset. It's about evolving from being a reactive fixer who's always putting out fires on broken orders and becoming a proactive architect who designs a system where the fires never start.
At the end of the day, you have two choices. You can go with a loose design. Sure, users love the flexibility at first, but your back office teams, they're left to clean up the constant chaos, the billing errors, the audit failures. Or you can choose a strict design. Yes, some users might complain at first, but the result is a system that becomes stable, auditable, and beautifully predictable for the entire business.
And this quote just says it all, doesn't it? A junior consultant fixes partner issues in orders. But a senior consultant designs partner determinations so that the issues never, ever occur in the first place. That's the goal. That's the art.
So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with one final question to really think about. Take a hard look at your own system. Is it designed to be a safety net that just reports errors after they've already happened? Or is it a fortress, proactively built to prevent those errors from ever happening at all? Because the answer to that question makes all the difference in the world.